everyone, and welcome once again to Articulating with David Barnett. As always, I am your host and art historian, Sharon Loker, and with me is our gallery director and owner, the man himself, David Barnett.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Oh, my pleasure.
Overstated, but it's welcomed anyway.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Oh, boy.
Well, today we are discussing a few different artworks that we have here in the gallery collection, and the theme is going hand in hand with the Summer Olympics, which, as we all know, have taken place in Paris. And so we've chosen a few artworks here that kind of tie back to that whole theme. So to get us started, should we start with Catherine Holmberg?
Sure.
Since we've got her right behind us here. This is a piece called Greek Urn by an artist named Catherine Holmberg. David, if you'd like to.
Catherine's a local
tell us about
artist.
her.
She graduated from Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design many years ago. Now she lives out in Utah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as you folks can see, this is a very large scale painting. What I like about it is it has that very traditional and classical still life feel, yet it is rendered in a kind of impressionistic, looser and more gestural fashion. So we've got the vase, we have the flowers, we have the classic Greek face here, kind of giving us a nod to a more traditional,
Greek sculpture.
Greek past. And of course, as we all know, the Olympics started in Greece, hence the reason we chose this particular painting.
The Greek urn.
Yes. And moving right along, our next piece we have here is one done by David himself. It is called Trek on Track.
So you have basically races by Morph Dogs, which was a little foam cube that you inverted and it becomes this little playful dog creature. And then we've got the rabbits, and so the Morph Dogs are kind of represent the turtles, so the idea of the theme, the tortoise and the hare, who ultimately wins the race, slow and steady. And then different symbols like the Arc de Triomphe, and so you have, because Lance Armstrong won the Tour de France, you have the bicycle at the top of the Eiffel Tower with the American flag on top of that.
I just noticed that.
Playful.
The little bicycle.
Yeah, playful things. And the different continents, and of course the bicycle race going all the way around the world. And so you have rabbits riding the bicycles, so it's partly playful and satirical. Yeah.
And I see some tie-ins to Wisconsin as well. Trek obviously being based out of Wisconsin. I see we've got some little state of Wisconsin's hidden in there, the cows. One of the things I noticed right away when I was looking at this piece, David, was there's also, I know you're a big fan of Chagall, who we discussed in a previous podcast. I see some of that influence in here, especially with the sun. And of course, I know Chagall always put in elements of Paris or France in a lot of his pieces. And even just the floating objects themselves, kind of this slightly playful, surrealistic placement of everything in the overall work, as there's a lot of layers to it.
That's the idea. Yeah.
All right. Do you want to take us into the next one?
Yeah, so this next piece is an original color lithograph done in Paris in 1918 by a French lithographer. It was done for commercial purposes to raise money. It was war bonds for World War I. And it has all the symbols of France, the rooster and the oak laurel leaves and the French flag. Yeah.
There's Joan of Arc is in there too. That's the statue. And during our research, we were able to find out that the oak tree is actually the national tree of France. So that explains the placement of the oak branches in there. And then the rooster, this is interesting, is kind of an unofficial animal of France. And the rooster comes into play going back to the Latin word for rooster, which is Gallus. And that kind of, in itself, ties into a time when the French were referred to as the Gauls. So that's how the rooster, or why the rooster appears in this piece. I love it just for the historical aspect. These old lithograph posters are such lovely works of art in their own right, and I think sometimes they tend to get overlooked because they're prints and, it's not necessarily a one of a kind, but at the same time they're representing this moment in history. And of course, you're talking about a time during World War I. And of course, you have all the wonderful typography at the bottom too. But I just think these pieces always make for such interesting and lovely additions to your interior. They're just kind of fun and educational. And of course, finally here we have Francois Batté. This piece, this color lithograph is titled Notre Dame for obvious reasons, because we have the Notre Dame in the background. And of course, the trio of lovely Parisian ladies in the foreground.
She's got her little tourist map of Paris that they're looking at with the Eiffel Tower on there in Paris.
Yes, her little Parisian guidebook. And these Batté lithographs, of which we have many in the gallery collection, are really wonderful. They all have this vintage feel to them.
École de Paris, the School of Paris.
The School of Paris.
1920s and 1930s feeling.
Yes. And anything, of course, vintage is so popular right now to begin with. And then, playing into that European city, the Parisian feel is just kind of lovely and fun. And I love the costuming too that are used in the figures. They always have these wonderful hats on and just beautiful garments with the different patterns.
Yeah, le chapeau rouge and le chapeau brun. There we have it.
There we have it. So thank you, everybody. We really appreciate you, as always, checking in with us, listening to us as we discuss our different works of art and celebrate our Summer Olympics and give you a little taste of Paris and a little taste of Greece as well, right here from the gallery in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Thank you for listening, and we hope to see you soon.
Take care.